Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. What a weekend that was. That was crazy. We got a lot to talk about. Jim, good morning. Obviously, we have the national championship game tonight, so we're gonna break that down. We've been crushing baseball as well, so we could talk a little bit about that. NFL draft news and stuff is coming in too. We have the Masters Thursday, so it's a busy week. Probably how we'll play this is we'll talk national championship today. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be a big MLB slate. Typically Tuesday night. There's a lot of MLB games. Wednesday, we'll do a full Masters preview. And then Thursday, Friday, we'll have Masters going on, talk baseball. And then next week, we'll really dive into the NFL draft. I told you guys last week, we might go through, I'll pick like the top 10, 11, 12 teams, and we'll do a couple mock draft simulations for them and kind of figure out who we think they should take. And then there's always like mock draft contests. So of course, we're going to hop in one of those, see if we can win one of those. But yeah, busy couple weeks here. As far as the weekend goes, just insane. I can't remember a team that we've bet on that like really worked as hard for us as this Houston team has. Just absolutely incredible performance, insane choke. That was as much parts a great comeback for Houston as it was just an insane choke for Duke. I mean, there's really no reason Houston was even in that game. Once Duke extended it out to 14 points or whatever it was with 9 minutes left, the game should have been over right then and there. I thought John Shire got outcoached, and I don't think Duke's guards played well enough, down the stretch. I wouldn't put any blame on Cooper Flagg. I'm not really sure why people were complaining about him. I mean, he led the team in every stat category. He played a ton of minutes. He was physically exhausted at the end of that game. That's why he short-armed that game winner, and he was just tired. But I wouldn't put any blame on him. I'm kind of interested. I've seen a lot of people that, I respect, I think are knowledgeable, kind of let Shire off the hook. I really don't understand. I mean, he's a young coach, and that's kind of why I wasn't picking Duke in my brackets. Like, aside from just playing the percentages and, how popular of a pick they were, having a young, still inexperienced coach. I know they went on a run in the tournament last year, but it's still, he doesn't have as much experience as someone like Kelvin Sampson. So that was still a factor for me. I thought that showed. I mean, I texted my friend 5 minutes into that game on Saturday night and said, Malawach cannot play in this game. And that showed in the box score. He was minus 21 in 20 minutes or whatever. I'm not really, I don't understand why he continuously played Malawach in that game. It was evident from the start of the game that he did not belong on the floor. Duke really extended in the first half when they went to the small lineup. They brought in Malik Brown. Malawach, if he's not getting rebounds in that game, he's useless. He's just clogging up space. Yes, there's a threat of him in the paint to prevent Houston from driving, but Houston doesn't drive anyways. They're not really they're really not a driving offense. So I really don't think that his presence as a rim protector was that important in that game. He's 7'2", got 0 rebounds. He got beat to the glass every single time by Juwan Roberts. And I mean, he's essentially a 0 on offense other than the threat of catching a lob, which I don't know. I couldn't believe that Shire just kept putting him in. Like, it was mind-boggling to me. Like, it was so evident that that small lineup was giving Houston a ton of problems. I don't understand why you wouldn't just ride that. And I think if they would have, they would be playing tonight. Houston would be at home. So I thought that was, I think a lot of that game has to get put on John Shire, to be honest with you. And then, like I said, the guards not playing well. Tyrese Proctor, complete terrorist in the second half of that game. Late turnover which that was kind of on the pass as well, but a late turnover and then not giving the ball up when you're shooting 60% for the season from the free throw line and you get the ball late, he has to give that ball up. They're going to foul him. They did, and he missed the free throw. So guard play continues to win, in March Madness. We've seen that with Florida. The only reason Florida is sniffing this national championship game is because of Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin. I'll give him credit too in that game against Auburn, but the only reason they even got to that game is because of Walter Clayton. So it should be a great game. I'm honestly pretty surprised that Florida is favored here. I don't think this game is a good matchup stylistically for Florida. And that's really why I said whoever wins, Duke and Houston, I thought was going to win the national title, because Duke is just top to bottom the best team. And Houston is kind of like a better version of Auburn. And I don't think Florida matches up well with Houston. Auburn and Houston defend games completely differently. And the reason Florida was able to come back and win that game is because of Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin and what they did in the second half of that game. I don't know if they'll be able to do that against Florida, because Auburn is going to play really heavy, like drop coverage defense with Broom. And there's kind of a lot of space to operate for those guards. I don't know if they're going to have that tonight. Like, Houston does not play like that at all. Like, they're going to hedge every screen, blitz screens, and they're going to make those guards really uncomfortable. And if those guards, like if Houston's able to force those guards to give up the ball, which is what they're going to want to do, I don't know how those Florida big men are going to survive tonight, because like Houston, we've talked about this all season. Since the Super Bowl, we started really diving in here. Houston does not have a ton of size, but they play so physical and so much bigger than they actually are. Like, Florida was extremely uncomfortable, the big men, I thought, in that game against Auburn. Like, I thought Condon played really bad for a majority of the game, and Hawk was kind of uncomfortable at times too. Like, he was even hesitant to shoot threes at one point. He hit that 1 3, but then late in the game, he kind of had a chance. A couple times he was open at the top, for like a pick and pop three. He wasn't even looking to shoot it. So I think that Houston's going to make these big guys really, really uncomfortable. And if they can make the guards give the ball up, I think it's just a disaster recipe for Florida. So I personally don't think it's a good matchup for Florida. I think Houston is going to win, but you guys know I've said Houston was going to win the title. So you could say I'm biased, but I just think stylistically it's not a good matchup for Florida. So if you don't have Houston futures, I mean, I would look to bet Houston in this game, to be honest. You might be able to get, I think Bet365 had a plus 100 line for Houston, so you might be able to get plus money, like a double up. I would be looking to bet Houston, to be honest, if you don't have the futures. But I hedged a small amount on Florida. Basically, what I did is, because I'm really confident in Houston. I have been the whole time. I didn't even end up hedging on Duke. Like, we were talking on stream, like bet Duke plus whatever 110 to win the title. I didn't even end up doing that by the time we got to the weekend. I just had a feeling, and I was like, if Houston could just get them in a close game at the end, I would like the chances, and that's what they did. So I didn't end up hedging there. I'm going to put enough on Florida just to get all of my entry fees back for like bracket pools, futures bets. I'll probably end up making $150 if Florida wins the game tonight, profit. But I'm riding with Houston. I feel confident, so I'm not going to hedge a big amount. If Houston wins, this is going to be a pretty big win, honestly. Probably close to like 45-ish units. So really big win tonight. So I'm not hedging. I'm rocking with Houston. I think it's a good matchup for them. I wish I could see props. We don't have props in Ohio, so I can't check. I can't even see the lines. I wish I could, though, so we could talk about it. I think specifically, I think the big men So Florida is really not going to double, and they have no reason to double Houston's big men, but they wouldn't even double Broom because they didn't want to help off the shooters outside. Probably going to play the same way tonight. So someone like Jawan Roberts missed a lot of bunnies against Duke. He was missing layups, those quick little like turnarounds. Usually he can make those. He was missing them against Duke. I could see him having a big offensive night. So, if you could get him, double-digit points, I could see him, taking advantage of those just one-on-ones and kind of backing guys down. I could also see a great game for Houston rebounding. Florida really is not a elite defensive rebounding team, which could be trouble, because you know how good Houston is at rebounding. So that's another mismatch in favor of Houston, I think. So looking at some Houston rebounding props, I think would make sense. And also at the same time, Houston did not shoot well against Duke. They shot like below 40%. So there's room for them to improve shooting tonight too, especially like Uzan played really bad, to be honest. If Houston would have lost that game, I probably would have put it a lot on Milos Uzan because I tweeted a few months ago, that Uzan is the X factor for this team, and it's why they can win a national title in comparison to recent Houston teams. And he just didn't play well. I mean, he got in foul trouble early. He was 0 for 4. He airballed a wide open corner 3 to start the game. He was 0 for 4 shooting 2 fouls, so he sat forever in the first half. And it was getting out of control to where they actually had to put him in, even with 2 fouls for the last like 2 minutes of the half, because they just didn't have another threat on offense. And he just really never got going. So I would look for him to have a bigger game if you wanted to look at his points prop. Again, I don't know what the line is because I can't see it, but just speaking in terms of how I think the game's going to go, that's something that, I think he's going to play better. I could see him going for 14, 15 points tonight, depending on what the line is. But yeah, so overall, I mean, that's my thoughts on the game. If you guys have any questions on anything, go ahead and ask. I don't know. I haven't really got a public. If anyone in the chat, can you tell me? Like, I haven't got a public perception if people are betting Duke or if people are betting Houston or Florida, and I have not checked the betting splits either. So I'm not really sure what the public side of the game is. I'll probably check after the stream. Looking at baseball today, just quickly, I have not taken any baseball bets. I was like really deep in the weeds researching the Houston game last night, so I was spending a lot of my time there, and then trying to get ahead on Master stuff too. Using plus 160 for 15. Ryan, what's like just his normal line? If he's plus 160 for 15, does he play like 11 and a half, 12 and a half? It's probably around there. But yeah, so I was trying to get ahead on Master stuff too. So I haven't looked at the baseball ton. I'll be doing that today after the stream. Also, if you guys are subscribed to the one of our partners, playerprops.ai, I'm going to be filming at noon a national championship preview for tonight's game too. So if you guys want some extra content, I think we'll talk more props on there because we'll have the lines up so we can dive in more on that video too. So go check that out. Besides Saturday, yeah, Guru, I mean, I agree. I think that's a lot of people's beef with the tournament is that the games weren't great until the Final Four. But at the same time, those 2 Final Four games were so good. I personally think it makes up for it. I would much rather have watched those 2 games than some random team, lose by 20 to one of the good teams. I thought those 2 games were so good. Like, that's going to be a memorable Final Four, in my opinion, especially the Duke-Houston game. Like, if Houston goes on to win the title, I think 20 years from now, like, we'll still talk about that Duke and Houston game, and like people will like remember like watching that game, like who they were with and what they were doing when they were watching that game, because it was just such an epic finish to the game, down 9 with 3 minutes left, down 6 with 30 seconds left, just insane. And I have to shout out JoJo Tugler on Houston, one of just my favorite players to watch. So coming into the tournament, I was telling my friends, like, this guy's top 5, top 6 on Evan Miyakawa's player rating, and he really doesn't contribute on offense. That's how good he is defensively. And for him to make that mental mistake at the end of the game of reaching over the line and touching that ball and getting a technical, I mean, that was a back-breaking play for Houston. Like, they kind of were getting momentum, and then he did that. And it was such a back-breaking play. Kelvin Sampson, if you watch, like, literally fell to his knees on the sideline. It was a crushing blow. And for Tugler to make that mistake, run down the floor, block Con Knipple, like, go rewatch this play. I would implore you, everyone in here watching this, go watch it. Don't pay attention to anything other than Tugler. Con Knipple makes that technical free throw. Tugler gets down the floor. He blocks Con Knipple. He turns around and he dead sprints back down the floor. He's running by people. Dead sprints down the floor. Sharp hits that 3, and then they steal the inbounds. That ball stays in on the steal because Tugler tips it, and then he goes in and gets the putback dunk. For him to come back after that mental mistake was absolutely incredible. So I have to shout out him. I would take him on my team any day of the week. Just absolutely incredible to do that at the end of the game after a huge mistake like that. That was an amazing bounce back. That was just awesome to watch. That's the type of stuff that I like to pay attention to in the games too. Like, I just thought that was awesome. Uzan minus 110 for 12. They don't have an over underline. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I figured that would be around what it was at. I like the over. Roberts for 15 at plus 225 is interesting. Again, he's not really someone. Pull up his game log. I mean, he's not going to be a high scorer a lot, but I think in this specific matchup, he's going to be one-on-one a lot. If he can make those kind of bunnies. So he scored 18 against Gonzaga in the tournament. He scored 16 against Texas Tech on February 24th. He scored 20 against Colorado on February 8th. 18 against Tech. He scored Texas Tech. He got him for 15 twice in both their matchups. 24 against Kansas on 125. That was the overtime win. 21 against UCF on January 18th. 22 against West Virginia on the 15th. 20 against Oklahoma State. So he definitely can do it. He's done it a number of times. I think him being one-on-one tonight is going to be something to look out for. So getting plus 225, honestly, Ryan, that sounds intriguing. If I could bet props, I would probably sprinkle on that, to be honest with you. But yeah, so for baseball, I haven't looked at anything really today other than I know I like the Padres in some capacity here. Might look to parlay them. If you guys want to get crazy too, you could do this. Get you a 10-1 on Scotty Scheffler. So Saturday, I didn't give this out. I only put $20 on it. It wasn't a serious bet, but I just did Houston, UConn women, and then Scotty Scheffler, and it was a pretty decent payout. It was like $20 to 1,000, I think. So I wish I would have given it out just because if Houston gets through, we at least have a sweat. I'm not saying I don't know if Scotty's going to win the Masters, but it's nice to have at least a sweat. I don't need to focus on him at all. I can focus on other stuff when betting the tournament. So if you guys want to get crazy, you can get a 10-1 on Scotty by putting him with Houston tonight. Guru, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna give it to him, to be honest. He should win it. I just don't understand, and this is no disrespect to Shea whatsoever. If you guys remember, you can go find, I'm pretty sure I have tweets from Shea's rookie year on the Clippers talking about how good he was gonna be. I wanted the Cavs to draft him in the top 10. I've been a big Shea guy since he was at Kentucky. So this is no disrespect to him. There's no possible way anyone can watch basketball regularly and not think Nikola Jokic is the MVP. He is the best player in the league. It's not even remotely close right now. The gap between him and the next closest, it is a sizable gap. He is the best player. So how on earth is he not the MVP? If you took him off the Nuggets, they would be so bad, terrible. The Thunder would not be obviously as good without Shea, but they would still be good. They would certainly be better than the Nuggets without Jokic. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. If he wins MVP, it's just insane. I'm sorry. So I probably wouldn't, Guru, just because I don't think they're going to give it to him, even though he should win it. This is interesting. This was when Wemby got hurt, he was like plus 140. I actually wish I would have bet that. I should have been more on top of that. But yes, I want to bet the Padres tonight in some capacity. We'll see. I'll look more at baseball later. But overall, I'm going to go get ready for this video. If you guys go check it out, that's one of our partners here at Rolling Insights. So we actually provide data to playerprops.ai. So go check them out on YouTube. And stay tuned. So I'll be on that video later today, and we're going to dive into the national championship game. We'll probably look more at some props and stuff like that. So I'm going to go get ready for that video, and I'll repost it too. Once it's published, I'll repost it on my Twitter so you guys can go check that out. But thank you guys for tuning in. Tomorrow we'll do big MLB stream. Wednesday, Masters preview. I'm going to look maybe if I can bring a guest on. Definitely going to have Steve on Wednesday. So Steve is another person that one of the founders here at Rolling Insights. So he's going to come on the stream Wednesday. I know he's a golf fan, so he'll talk, but maybe we can have another guest on too to talk some Masters bets. But thank you guys for tuning in today. Go Houston. Hopefully you guys have futures with me and you're riding along. It's going to be a fun sweat tonight. Hopefully when I fire up stream tomorrow, we're counting our 45 units. But good luck tonight with everything. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m.